This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1563, 5 Ways We Avoided Lifestyle Inflation to Reach Financial Freedom, Part 2, by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is a show where I read to you, and to myself, frankly, from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet, every single day. We're surrounded by messages of how difficult it can be to make ends meet and build wealth. So thank you for spending this time with me where we can empower ourselves to take control of our financial health. Do you have a question you'd like answered here on the show? Go ahead and send it over to finance@oldpodcast.com and you will hear from me soon. Even if your question isn't answered on a Q&A episode, I do my very best to answer every email. Today's post is actually a continuation from yesterday. So if you're new here, it'd be best to listen to yesterday's episode first. But if you're all caught up, let's hear part 2 and continue optimizing your life. 5 Ways We Avoided Lifestyle Inflation to Reach Financial Freedom by Lisa Harrison of MadMoneyMonster.com. Number 2, our home is the right size. After we pulled the contract on that lifestyle inflated home, we hunkered down in the house I bought as a single parent for the next 4 years. During that time, we focused only on debt repayment and investing. When we reached financial freedom a few years in, we did upgrade our home. We followed all of the best home buying advice out there. We didn't buy more house than we needed, although I really wanted to, and we bought the craziest house in a nice neighborhood. Our original house was on a dead-end street with a few other small houses and no other kids. Since we wanted a nice neighborhood with other children for our daughter, the only choice we had was to move to one of those neighborhoods. But in our area, that's not so easy to find a reasonably priced home in a nice neighborhood. After a couple of years of searching, we hit the jackpot. The house was exactly our style, a 1980s cedar contemporary, in a great neighborhood and in the right school district. It was also on sale because it hadn't been upgraded or even maintained very well since it was built. There ended up being multiple offers, but thanks to our hard work in recent years, ours was the strongest. Number 3, our consumer debt has never been out of control. I should probably clarify this one. Since my husband and I made that pact to build wealth, our consumer debt has never been out of control. In the past, before we were together, we have both cycled in and out of credit card debt. These days, we will go without a want before we pay for anything with a credit card that can't be immediately paid off at the end of the month. That means we plan our purchases for things we want or places we want to go. Any vacation of ours is a vacation paid in full with cash. Number 4, we didn't blow extra money on stuff. Again, a little clarification. My husband and I have both blown extraordinary amounts of money on unnecessary stuff in the past. When my husband was in his 20s, he charged film equipment to the tune of thousands of dollars because he wanted to make movies. When I was in my 20s, I wasted tons of money on getting my hair and nails done and buying new clothes. I was also a tech junkie, so I always had the latest phone and coolest gadgets. Thankfully, we learned our lessons, and now we couldn't care less about having new clothes or the latest tech. I even surprised myself in this category. There was a time that I would get up in the middle of the night if it meant I could order the newest iGadget. Now I have zero desire to even go to the store to check things out. I simply just don't care anymore, and my husband's the same way. Having been blogging about money since 2015 and interacting with others in the personal finance space with similar mindsets also helps to reinforce this behavior. So when we have extra money, we either spend it on something we need or have wanted for some time, or we invest it. The cool part about our newfound financial attitude is that investing extra money gives us a bigger rush than spending it. Now that's progress. Number 5, we regularly increase our savings rate. Speaking of investing extra money, whenever I get a raise or bonus at work, we increase our savings rate accordingly. We did this until we finally maxed out contributions to all retirement accounts. It's easy to take a percentage of any pay raise or bonus and save it. Some employers that offer tax advantage savings plans like 401ks and 403bs even offer the ability to automate increases in your savings rate. This means you can set it and forget it. Even if you can't afford to max out your retirement accounts, save what you can when you can. Like my mom used to say, every little bit helps. You'll be amazed at how quickly you start to feel less anxiety and more freedom. Our roadmap to financial freedom. Our roadmap to financial freedom probably looks a little different than yours. And that's okay. Everyone blazes their own trail and has different needs and desires. Just because I don't spend a lot of money on getting my hair done doesn't mean that you shouldn't. If spending money on getting your hair styled makes you feel fabulous, go for it. Just save money in another area. Warning, you have to enjoy your life too. Although it's true that avoiding lifestyle inflation helped us reach financial freedom, it's important to not get so caught up in reaching your financial goals that you forget what's really important in your life, like the people in it, including yourself. If you think going too hard, too fast will be a first-class ticket to a loss of motivation, give yourself permission to slow down and take the scenic route. Cut back in areas you don't value and save the difference. Funnel any windfalls into debt repayment and investments. Then sit back and enjoy watching your money grow on your own path to financial freedom. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled 5 Ways We Avoided Lifestyle Inflation to Reach Financial Freedom by Lisa Harrison of madmoneymonster.com. I had a similar experience to Lisa in that I had to go through a period of wasting money before I realized that material possessions can only offer me a very surface level degree of happiness. And spending money on stuff becomes even less appealing when your headspace is consumed by more sustainable ways to drive happiness. I've found that being creative, having full autonomy over my time, and investing in relationships are more lasting sources of happiness, which helps me not to slip into the consumerist rabbit hole. And surrounding yourself with other people who are also pushing back against lifestyle inflation is a great way to reinforce this behavior. We all need social connection, and the people around us influence us more than we'd like to admit. I heard this quote the other day that I really liked from Joshua Fields Milburn, who said, "You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you." End quote. There is an easy sense of camaraderie that builds between people headed towards a common goal that can make the whole journey feel so much lighter and more fun. Finding a community with common goals can also help form a sense of identity, which makes it easier to generate the focus and build the habits you need to reach those goals. So for example, if you want to run a marathon, it would benefit you to identify as a runner, not someone who's trying to run. You will get up in the morning and run because that's just what runners do. And because your training group is waiting for you downstairs, so you better giddy up. Surround yourself with the right people to hold you accountable, do the hard work beside you, celebrate your wins with you, and soften the blows of your losses. And that's another episode and weekend of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. Happy Father's Day to all the dads listening in real time, and I'll be back with more posts for you on Monday. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.